Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. It is Sunday, and really, this is almost the end of the off season, as crazy as it sounds. Although it doesn't really feel like an off season with Aaron Rodgers trying to decide if he wants to come back to Green Bay, be a free agent, retire, going into a solitude of darkness, with Derek Carr being let go by the Raiders and doing his, interviews with, of course, New Orleans a couple of last week, and going to the Jets and things, and then there'll be Jimmy G out there. And it's amazing because this is the great shuffle at the end of the season where you've got the coaches that are going elsewhere and being rehired. Kellen Moore leaves here, goes to the Chargers. Of course, Frank Reich gets fired by the Colts and he gets hired by the Panthers. And of course, now the players are going to start, of course, being moving around. The thing that's crazy about all this is what you want to do in your field is you want to be in the top percentage of the people in your field. Well, the top percentage in the field of the NFL, there are few and far between. The thing that is crazy is, today the XFL starts out, which I think the NFL wants to do well because they end up using that as a feeder league. And we, of course, benefited from Turpentine. Turpentine, who was a USFL guy, of course, now we got the XFL with The Rock, and of course, having ties to the NFL, gives opportunities for some of these guys that have been overlooked to maybe get seen and be given an opportunity, because the pool for what you have to build your team is so small. And see, the difference of the Cowboys of the 70s and the 90s and now are the Cowboys found other sources of players. When you think about what Tom Landry did, he came out with the computers. They had computers back before computers were cool. And they ended up hiring an Indian mathematician to come up with formulas or algorithms of how to evaluate college talent. So that way, when the draft came around, they were able to draft the best players. They also went to small schools, minority colleges and things, and found players. So the Cowboys, beyond having a great coach in Tom Landry, in the end, you have to have the talent to go along with it. You just do. You can have a great football mind, but if he doesn't have players and a quarterback, you're not going to be successful. And you've seen times where you have teams that have won in spite of the coaching because they're just that much more talented. But the difference now in talent is so few and far between. Everybody is good at evaluating talent and finding every little thing in every game film because, of course, the social media and the fact that everybody's got a cell phone camera. You don't find, guys like you used to that were just overlooked because they weren't in the big schools. And so the Cowboys have tried to develop that extra source of players, which has always been the scratch and dent pile. And that scratch and dent pile, I mean, is they look at, because this is where you look at the Cowboys. Their first round picks, more than anybody else, have been really good. Their second round picks have left you wanting. And see, when I say scratch and dent, it's players that they believe should be a first round graded guy, but have fallen to the second round for whatever reason. And they look at it as, low risk, high reward. Although second round picks should be a player that should be a definite starter on your team. And by that I mean when you look at somebody like Jaylon Smith. Jaylon Smith tore his knee up, and a lot of people said he may never play football again. Jaylon Smith, to his credit, thank you. Jaylon Smith, to his credit, got back on the field and actually played pretty well for the Giants. But he was never that first round drafted talent that he should have been. You can look at guys that have had character issues that have fallen to the second round. And that's where you look at it, and the Cowboys don't do well with the second round picks, again, because they're looking for a discount. And herein lies the problem. It doesn't make sense when you are as valuable or you have as much money as you do that you're a cheapskate. But that's the way it works. The people with money didn't get their money by giving it away. I know. Listen, when you're rich and famous and you go to a restaurant and they recognize you, guess what? They're buying you dinner. That's the last person that needs somebody to buy dinner for. They got more money than they know what to do with. But that's what happens. And so they expect that with the players as well. So that's where you always hear, Stephen Jones talking about, well, Dak's got to leave money on the table for others. Or, we look for value. Value. Value, 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 value. I'm going to tell you what I get every time I buy something that is a value purchase. I end up having to replace it. You'll see special purchase drills. They may look like a regular DeWalt and stuff, but you have different ways of making things. The TV that you buy at Walmart at Christmas time, it's not the regular TV that they normally sell. They make it specifically for that, and they make it cheap. And it means it doesn't last. And see, I'm doing a job for a church right now. This church bought inexpensive speakers for, the church. They were up for 2 weeks. And they blew out because they rocking on Sundays. So they got another set of the same speakers. And we mounted those, put them back up. And they're listening to it. They were a good price, but it doesn't sound that good. So now they're going to go out and buy the ones that they should have to begin with. Ones that have more capacity, have more range, can make a lot more sound. Cost a lot more. But had they not bought the 2 cheap ones the first time, they could have bought the right one and saved the money. So this is where you have to understand. The cheapest price isn't necessarily the best price. And that's what the Cowboys have to get out of, is this whole thing of value picks, of trying to get something for nothing. You get what you pay for. And as we enter free agency and we look at this and we hear, Stephen Jones has been saying for years, we believe in our own guys. Well, I hate to tell you, all of our own guys have not been winning Super Bowls. I could understand that if you were destroying everybody else out there on the way to the Super Bowl, and you say, hey, we got the best. But there's teams out there that have better guys that are able to do what our guys aren't. So we, in the end, are only going to be as good as the talent that we can put on the field. Doesn't matter if you got great coaches. At some point, you got to have the talent to go along with it. So I'm getting ready to get back down the road. I know I've been not in here a lot the last couple of days, but it's taking some extra time with Mama, making sure Mama is taken care of. We had a long season, and I spent a lot of time here with you guys, and I wanted to spend a little extra time with her. And I got to get back to the workshop and the studio and get some stuff together. So I'm glad. I appreciate the appreciation from you guys. You guys definitely have shown me a whole lot of love, because a lot of you are worried that I'm not coming back. I'm not going anywhere. Not until the good Lord takes me away. And hopefully that won't be for a long, long time. And hopefully we'll win at least one more Super Bowl before then. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys this afternoon. Peace.